Hey, 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 Angie Rae here with Girl That's Toxic. Hope you're doing well. Like, subscribe, share, the whole thing that I like for you to do. And I love it when you comment. Okay, I have been wanting to do this episode because I am really proud of Vogue understanding the importance of having someone like Nicki Minaj on the cover. So we see Nicki Minaj is on the cover of Vogue magazine, the December 2023 issue. It's always exciting to see someone, a person of color, on the cover of especially a magazine like Vogue magazine. Um, I just am really excited about this and really want to talk to you about some of the things that she talks about in this article, things that I know we can relate to. So stick with me because I'm going to talk about, she has an addiction that she talks about. So stick with us till the end. And there's something that she and I had in common. And when I saw it, I was like, holy smokes. So stick with us till the end. We got some good stuff coming. But let me just tell you some of the things that are in this article. And in the meantime, I will be showing you other pictures of her in this article. So here she is with her beautiful son. And they have not made the child's name known. She called him Papa Bear. But anyway, she and her husband, that is. So she is under pressure to hand over a mastered version of Last Time I Saw You. So this is the way the article starts. And it starts to talk about how she works as an artist. And they're talking about this specific record and that she hears something that no one else hears. It's a buzz she hears. And I love what they say, a scholar of her genre and a rigorous wordsmith. She is also a painstaking listener of her own music. She combs through her recordings, rewrites verses, changes up her tone, adds drums, subtracts them. There are 27 versions of Anaconda, which was her 2014 hit, before she said yes to the single. She presses her engineers to punch up certain words and ensure that every syllable of her raps is clear and comprehensible. She wants to be understood. I'm a bit particular, she says. I hear you, girlfriend. I hear you. That her being a bit particular has done her very, very well. She's talking about the song Last Time I Saw You, and she said something interesting that I wanted to share. She said, and I don't think people make a lot of music about the experience of guilt, of guilt. So this is going to be a very interesting song because it is a song about guilt. And she's right. There's not a whole lot of songs out there that are about guilt. The article talks about swagger being an essential surface effect in hip hop and that Nicki Minaj, the best-selling female rapper of all time, has worn her crown with a special kind of pomp and circumstance. Yes, she has. Her fans, we know, are barbz. That's her fierce fans. But listen to this. People look at her. Let's look at her some more and some more of the cover, some photos that are included in the article. It's a very long article, so it's very interesting. You'd really learn about her. But one of the things that the article says is she had to fight for everything growing up, for her father's attention, for her mother's approval, for material comforts, for the feeling of safety inside the four walls of her home, but also in her adopted home country. She is from Trinidad, and the United States is her adopted home country. So that is, it's very touching because it shows the vulnerability. And people look at you and they think, man, she's beautiful. She's got this, she's got that. She hadn't had a care in the world. Well, that's not true. And we know that's not true. And she says something that I can certainly relate to in this article, and I agree with. Yes, I'm fighting for the girls who never thought they could win. Absolutely. Fighting for the girls who never thought they could win, and they can see themselves in Nicki, and they can see that this beautiful woman, she works her butt off. And the success she has had, I am so happy for her. Here's something she said. There's a freeness that you have around you when you're at your best, when you're doing your thing at your peak. I agree. There is a freeness that I have too, that I know you have too, when you are at your best. When I'm at my best, I'm feeling so good, so free. I like the freeness that she said that. She says people who excel at something make it look easy. Preach, sis. Preach, sis. We make it look easy, don't we? But they also deal with a lot of fear of letting people down and of letting themselves down. Yes, I can relate to that. Once you make it, I ain't made it like Nikki. Once you make it, it's like anything you say can be used against you. And that's true. And once you make it, people are so happy for you until they start bringing you down. And so I know she's experienced some of that as well. Um, as I mentioned, she's was born in Trinidad. When she was 3 years old, her parents left to come to New York, and her grandmother took care of her until her parents could, bring her and her brother over, and they lived in South Jamaica, Queens. The family was poor, and she knew what it was like to not have. I can relate. You know what it's like to not have. Yes. Here's the thing she and I have in common. I told you I was going to let you know, and here it is. She grew up attending a Pentecostal church with her mother. And that was how I grew up. I grew up in a Pentecostal church. I've mentioned it to you before. And then that was the white version of Church of God in Christ, Kojic, which we ended up going Church of God in Christ, which is, I say, the black version of Pentecostal. Um, and she recalls praying a specific prayer. She was just 5 years old. Oh, I can so relate. God, please make me rich so I can buy my mother another house and take care of my family. So this is what this 5-year-old child, this was her prayer because they lived in such poverty, because there were issues in the house. So her late father, in the 80s, the crack epidemic just really swept through New York City and other places. And her father moved from weed to adding crack to his weed and then to just crack on its own. He drank a lot and was sometimes violent, once setting his own house ablaze with his wife in it. Hello? So, she grew up like this, and she had to be the adult. I had adult burdens way too early. This is what she said. A lot of us can understand that. But she knew she wanted to be an actress, and so she attended the LaGuardia Performing Arts School and, was trying out for stuff and wasn't getting anything. And, she started singing and got noticed by Lil Wayne and signed by him. And I'm just really excited that, let's look at some more pictures. That's so beautiful. This gown is lovely because it looks like it's leather, and I'm all for it. And you look phenomenal, girlfriend. She is just extremely extraordinary. And I told you that I was going to talk to you about an addiction that she had, and here we are. She got addicted to Percocet while she was living in Atlanta very briefly to work on her musical career. She was prescribed Percocet for extreme pain due to menstrual cramps, which many of us can relate to. No one told me that this was a narcotic and this was addictive. Luckily, I was able to ground myself, but, she says, but once an addict, always an addict. And I appreciate her making herself vulnerable and letting us know this. She believes that the risk of substance abuse is especially high among those who live under a microscope. And she specifically mentions three names: Prince, Whitney Houston, and Michael Jackson, and how just the glare of the spotlight, what it did to them. And, having an addiction, many of us, I have an addiction. I have an addiction to sugar. It's a real thing. And it is tough to break an addiction. And so I really do appreciate how vulnerable this article is, how, It's a very long article, so you really get to know a lot about her and how, we knew she at times she's like, I'm ready to retire from this because the music business, the music industry, as we've discussed in other episodes, is hell. It is hard as all get out. And this woman is the most talented just rapper. So thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Ooh, like that. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for what you have given us. Thank you for sticking with it, even when it got hard. Really happy that you're a new mom. Just let's just keep it all positive. And you should consider yourself the leader of the band, as they say. You're the leader, okay? So no need to get into beefs with this person or that person. Nobody can beat Nicki Minaj right now. Congratulations. She is on the December 2023 cover of Vogue magazine. How many of us can say that's where we are?